Welcome. You are at the CCC.
Where there are no outside issues. My name is Anthony. I'm an addict and an alcoholic, another bozo on the bus, and I care about you.
Yes, my name is Jordan, and I'm an addict, always trying to make good choices.
And I'm Lewis, and my pronouns are he and him, and I'm recovered for crystal meth and alcohol, and I am always in search of balance. And each week we strive to foster a brave space where we can engage in conversations centered around topics of recovery.
Yes, and our intention is to hold and inspire better spaces for more people in recovery by tackling issues sometimes used to separate us.
But before we do that, please like, share, comment, rate this episode,
Share
and subscribe.
Tell your friends about us. Tell your mom about us.
That's what I was waiting for.
Call your ex up who you've been wanting to talk to for such a long time.
Don't do that because it could be toxic.
And say like, hey, I just want to tell you about this podcast.
Ooh,
You need
that's
it.
shady, righteous judgment. It's like, I'm like, you need it.
Wow.
And now the disclaimer: the thoughts and opinions expressed on at the CCC are ours alone. We do not represent anyone but ourselves. In other words, we're just a couple of friends behind a mic here to entertain you. And of course, everything we talk about is for general information purposes only.
Very general.
Very general.
That was super dramatic. It's like the pause. It's like all that pregnant pause.
You know who's dramatic?
Yes.
Did you notice that when I say balance, it's starting to sound more gremlin-y like?
It's always sounded gremlin.
Oh,
It's like
okay.
I was like, who is this
Right.
gremlin joining in me? Like when I'm having.
Yeah. When was the last time you had a hug?
Shush. Actually, no, I'm gonna tell you.
I hugged him when I got here. What are you talking
No,
about?
I'm going to tell you a story.
It didn't count.
Okay, so
Yeah.
there's an individual whom I actually adore or whatever, but his hugs are so aggressive.
Say their name.
Like,
aggressive
no, I'm not
how?
saying it. Aggressive, it's one of those things where I feel like I've lost energy after the hug. It's like it's a little too aggressive, and so the way
Energy
that
vampire.
because I don't want to be it's not. He's not taking the energy. Like energy vampires, there's some way of sucking. No, there's a physicalness, and I have to be on top of it. And usually he tries. It's after work. I go to a meeting, and so I find myself trying to kind of move away and thoughtfully. No, without saying the words, because I don't want to say the words. But then in the corner of my eye, because I see everything, I see him moving to make his way to me. And so I've had to put my hand on his shoulder as he's hugging me just to kind of temper the hug.
What? Does he hold you too tight?
Oh my God. It's like hello. It's like I'm going to hug you and squeeze you and call you George.
Does he? That doesn't sound good.
It's like the difference between like a chihuahua and what are those?
A polar bear. I don't know.
One of those big dogs. The
Great Danes.
German
whatever,
Shepherd.
or a Rottweiler, like where big dogs don't know just how aggressive they are.
Oh, so it's not that. So it's just physically uncomfortable.
And it's not intentional. This is why I don't want to be rude to him. It's just one of those things where it's like I appreciate it, but it's also
Stop going to the gym.
no.
I feel like we need
feel
we should talk about this later.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's so much going on here. I'm like,
Okay,
is
yeah.
he touching
But
you
I
weird?
guess the last hug I had was yours, and that's why I'm uncomfortable.
This whole time you were talking about me. I'm like, what else does he do?
Say their names.
First and last.
Oh man,
Anthony.
yeah. How is everyone?
Obviously, I'm good.
Yeah, it's really good to see you guys.
I know it's
It's
great
been
to
too
see you.
long. Yeah,
I know exactly.
So long.
so long. What's going on with you, Jordan?
What's going on with me? Just working. Okay, I got bit by a dog at work.
All right, there it goes.
And it's my first workers' comp, so I'm excited to take some days
I
off.
love that. I love it.
Oh, did
Was it like a graze and you're all, I'm going to take 3 days off?
Okay, no, it drew
did it break
blood.
skin? Oh
Yes.
no!
Yeah. So I'm on antibiotics and all that jazz.
And all that.
What are you trying to
jazz.
keep from getting HIV?
The dog didn't fuck him, you idiot. Jesus Christ.
And he's worried about the hug.
I know. This is why they have like those warnings on things. Like, don't put soap in your eye. This is why. For external use only.
Workplace harassment videos is because of Lewis.
There's always that one guy.
Oh my
And
God.
Lewis Louis is that guy.
Got it. Wow.
How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Just been really busy. Got a lot of stuff going on. Really exciting
dating
projects.
anybody?
I am not. I am still grieving.
No, but we have hours and hours. We have so many shows and opportunities to like
Listen,
talk.
if you are at all interested in my dating history, just like and subscribe. Start from the beginning, and you'll hear about all of them.
All of them.
Absolutely.
No, but the guy that I told you guys about like months ago that I'd started seeing, and then
I can't remember which one.
oh, shut up! There was only one guy, and no, we really liked it. You know what's crazy is we met on Sniffies.
Great beginning.
We were
True love. True love.
like we were hooking up. It was bomb, and then we like discovered that we liked each other, and so like hooking up turned into cuddling. Cuddling turned into like staying over, and then over months, like we're like making each other dinner and seeing each other all the time. And then he had to move away for med school.
Oh, okay.
That was that guy.
You made him
So-
dinner? You didn't make. You never
He
made
made
us?
me dinner.
So no. So
He's an amazing cook.
So it wasn't like it was an amicable. It was a necessary because for his personal growth. So it's a good thing.
I'm still holding on. We're not gonna talk about that for the rest of this episode.
Oh.
But you asked me how I was doing and whether or not I was dating. My answer is and was no. I'm not dating. I'm still grieving
This
the end
one's
of that.
growing. This one's growing.
Yeah, I am.
Proud of you.
We are excited to have Patrick back.
Hey, Patrick.
Hello.
Yay, Jordan. Were you gonna say something? Were you gonna?
No, that was it.
That was it. We are really excited to have Patrick back. We love him. We wanted him here. And so we're going to continue our series on the committee. In our head. You want to let me finish the sentence?
No, but I didn't get a chance to say it. It's like Patrick's a part of a couple, one of my favorite couples in the Castro. I love it when I see you guys.
Cute.
Well, what do you love about
sweet.
seeing them?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, what I will say is, like, I pass by his job and I always stare and say, "Look what you did to my hair." No,
For people listening, Louis is bald.
something that
Very.
Doesn't translate.
I always talk
And my
about.
partner's a barber.
Yeah. I always talk
Context.
about.
There we go.
Exactly. I always talk about this. Like, I really love consistency, and you. Like every time that I see the both of you guys, I get the same energy. Like I'm always like, hey, if you're a dick to me, be a dick to me, because if you show up one day being nice to me, that's going to make me uncomfortable.
Yep.
Yeah.
Noted. Great. So
Oh,
we're talking about the
is now the time to? No, just kidding. Go ahead.
Okay. You know what? You guys do this all the time.
I
But guess
missed
what?
you.
I'm just gonna be, and I'm not gonna let you try to tear me down. Try to
Never.
take my joy.
Never. We would never.
So
The committee in our heads.
Yeah.
That's
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That's a nice segue.
is that all you got, or
That's all
were
I
you going
got.
to?
Just the title.
All right, so we're doing the series. It's called. Well, so if you're just jumping in and you're hearing about this for the first time, go 2 episodes back where we started the series, and it was on fear. And so the series is about what are all the different things or voices or ideas or beliefs that we have that enter into our minds that essentially join this committee that causes like distress or anxiety or depression or keep us into a loop. And so we've dedicated this series to focusing on one at a time. Although there's a lot of overlap.
Yeah, there's definitely overlap.
And so today
It's a little spin off of Inside Out.
or like every other form of therapy.
we can't take credit for that. They're gonna try to charge us.
Yeah.
Not trademark.
So today we're gonna talk about the critic. The critic.
Look at him. He's being on.
He's
on
so
fire.
good. Look, recovery looks good on you,
I
Jordan.
know, exactly. We
press
take a
buttons.
break and he
Okay.
learns how to use the button.
Hydrated, employed, showing up on time.
And if you see him, look at his butt, because you can always tell when his recovery.
Oh
is
my
going well, Because all of
God.
a sudden it's all fleshy and like I'm like, hey.
Okay. So what are folks' experiences with the critic?
Well, my question is it outside critics, inside critic? Like who?
What a great way to start.
So we're talking about the committee in our head.
Right.
So that means it's inside.
No, Louis, we're doing yes and. We're doing yes and.
No, but okay. So sometimes that critic can be informed by the critics outside of ourselves.
That's right.
That
But it
dictates.
starts inside.
Or outside
Does
of
it start
ourselves.
inside or does it start
No, but
outside?
but it starts inside. It's what I'm thinking. Everything is about me. I'm in my head thinking about you, and so you might be a part of it, but it begins with me. It's me.
That's one idea.
Oh,
Patrick, thoughts?
I think I'm with Lewis. The call is coming from inside the house.
absolutely.
But I do see your point, Jordan, that yes, if I'm surrounded by people who are telling me I'm a bad person or I'm not worth anything or I'm not good enough, then yeah, that can strengthen the voice that's in my head that's telling me those things. And when I'm away from those people, I'm still thinking it.
You know, I'm going to push back a little bit here.
Push.
Not that I think that we're having a different conversation, but there is a way that we can, there is a way that other people influence us, right? So like physically, if I punch you and it hurts, I cause that pain, right? I'm not going to say, you know what, it's because you're thinking about it, right? That you're experiencing this pain. However, how you translate that pain is an inside job.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So it's like, you did this thing to me, this hurts. Okay. At the point where you start to like meaning make behind it and it starts to hurt. Right.
I'm coming from the place of the translation.
Well, yeah. There's like this other part. The reason why the reason why I'm like playfully pushing against it because I realize what you guys are saying is because what you're saying is a lot more nuanced, right? Like there are gaps that you're immediately filling in, but I think for like folks who may not be familiar with that there is, you know, we are not saying that you are to blame because you're sad or you are to blame because you're depressed. No, you're not. Things have probably happened to you if you've had like trauma and stuff like that. Like those things are categorically and objectively painful. Right. But there is a point where we can contribute to that pain.
Yeah. Right. And I think you said a really important word, Anthony, blame, right? Because that blame, like, no, thoughts and feelings and our first instincts and our reactions to things and our emotions, they're neither good nor bad. They just are. Right. And then when you start to bring blame into the conversation, or when I'll speak for myself, when I start to blame myself for feeling a certain way, that starts a process where I get beaten down. Right. And that blame can be part of my critic of telling me, well, you're an idiot for doing that thing, or you're stupid for thinking that, or you're bad because you want this, that, or the other. And that I think might be along the lines of what we're we're all talking about the same thing, that's a process that happens for a lot of us, for sure.
100%. Yeah.
And to
Go ahead, Lewis.
use the term that like Anthony always used, I think that this conversation is about data collection.
Okay.
Yeah, so that it's not about judgment. Kind of like with the steps. The steps are not about judgment. It's just making ourselves aware of this. Because it's like we could be moving around in the darkness, not thinking about like that voice. Because I always say it's like, I want the louder voice to be my higher power, but I also do not want people around me who support that negativity. It's like that is a lesson. That was a very tough lesson to kind of. I don't need you to be saying that the bad things or reinforcing it.
That's right. That's right. And also, maybe we'll talk about this in depth a little bit more if you want to, but I do believe that the voices in our head, the committee, comes about to protect us initially from whatever the things were that we experienced when that person on the committee started to come online.
No, for sure.
They start that way and then they erode, which is unfortunate.
They get
it's like
out of control.
Because it's like you're looking out for us, but then all of a sudden it's like they're looking out for us in a way that is detrimental.
Yep. It gets exaggerated.
Yeah. It's reminding me like in Buddhism, there's like the story of the second arrow, right? Where like you can experience a pain, which is going back to what we were talking about a second ago. You can experience a pain, right? Like you're in the world, the people are going to hurt each other, your friendships, your close relationships. And that first part, it hurts. But there is a time when we can make that pain much more complicated. So going back to this idea of blame, right? So there's going back to this middle ground, blame. Well, how did you learn how to blame yourself, right? Like what were the things, how in experiencing grief or suffering, what did you learn about that growing up? Were you taught, for example, that it was your fault? Were you taught that you can actually be curious about experiences, right? And so I think that's the missing piece where for a lot of folks, it's the water they're swimming in. They know no different, and it gets replicated by those relationships that you're talking about, Lewis. And so then how do we create space? How do we make that different?
Do we need to make it different?
I don't know, girl. Do you want to have a critical voice all the time?
I think the work that we do with the steps, with therapy, with everything, where we start to figure out what the truth is and we get to the root of whatever. Because if we're living in what's really the reality or whatever, we're still going to get those messages, those signals or whatever. It's just that the voice in my head, it's going to change narrative. It's going to change his tune. Like now, the louder voice, like I said before, is my higher power. My higher power loves me and wants the best. And more than not, if I hear something that doesn't agree with me, that is a sin against me, it's like, nah.
You can check it.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
This is pay attention to what that person doesn't have your best interest. And,
And I think, Louis, what you just said is I think where there's the power in that idea of when there's a disturbance anywhere, it's the disturbance is in me. Sometimes I hear that as blame, right? Well, then I'm at fault for causing the disturbance. But what, Louis, you're saying turns that around and it gives me agency and power over the disturbance. Once I realize if somebody hurts me and I'm hurt, I have the choice whether to listen to that or to listen to my higher power, like you were putting it. And that's freedom. That's real freedom.
And honestly, I haven't said in a while, but we need to give ourselves grace because it is a long process. It's a long process, and it doesn't always stick.
Yep.
Sometimes it's like blip, blip, blip. It's like,
Yes, and then I also what you just said is like if we can give ourselves grace, this is the thing that I work on daily. Then I can give other people grace too, right? That's the hardest one. If I'm having road rage, it's not because it is because the other person's a terrible driver, but it's not really. It's because I'm having something going on in me, and honking or screaming at someone or flipping them off it never makes me feel better. Well, it does for a second, but it ultimately sort of makes me feel a little bit crummier, and it hasn't solved the issue.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling bad about myself.
I like your use of the word freedom, because I think part of like what we're talking about is when we have experiences that are distressing, there's a way that we can respond to them immediately. And anyone in recovery likely has had the experience where something is happening and they're just reacting. You say a thing that hurts me, I am now going to yell at you, right? And when you say freedom, what I'm envisioning is some space between the pain and how you're choosing to respond to that pain.
It's like kind of like the conversation with how, like when we have microaggressions, and you have to ask yourself, am I going to address this? Am I going to? And usually, what helps me to decide is I think about the person who's perpetrating. Usually what happens is it's an individual that I absolutely love, and that I think there's value in this relationship, and I know that the only way that we're going to be able to move forward is that I address this. And so it's like I'm a lot more thoughtful in how I move forward, because I try not to. Like if I don't value you or the relationship, that's when I may yell or cause something or create some disturbance that I end up in jail for.
You should be in jail.
And
well, I'll be in jail with you, and you're gonna be my bitch.
We're not even going to be on the same floor.
True love.
What? Because you'll be in the women's prison.
Wow.
Because I'm prettier.
okay, bitch. Oh my God, it's like this just went dark.
So I know. I was like, why did he put us in prison?
Wait, did you say that? Somebody said you should be in prison.
I did.
Yeah.
And then I said, and you would be.
Oh, I guess I started that.
Yeah, you started it. It's like, look at that. It's like, she threw a rock and hit her.
I know. I'm like gaslighting you and myself in real time.
Exactly. It's like, hello. It's like, I usually react to you based on how you show up.
Blame
we were
the
all
victim.
able to witness that escalate.
Yes, exactly.
Very quickly.
So I want to go back to this idea of data, and we can get to your question, Jordan. Like going back to this idea of data. So one of the things that like I personally like to shy away from, and this is actually speaking to something you said, Patrick. I think it was the last episode, where like, feelings are not right or wrong, they just are, and then we have kind of like our interpretations of them. So going back to what you were saying about data, I think part of what's important is when we're having an experience that is uncomfortable, that information is used to tell us like that information tells us what we need. So for example, like if we're hot, we sweat. We need to cool off.
If we're hot, we're just hot.
Yeah. Reason number 2 why you belong in prison. So then if we're hot, we sweat. If it's cold, we get goosebumps or, like trying to retain heat. And if we're in the company of someone who makes us uncomfortable and we feel bad about ourselves, right? It isn't necessarily that there's something wrong with us, but it's our body giving us information. And so what do we do with that information, right? It isn't that like, oh, I am a piece of shit. It's like, oh, and when I'm in the company of this person, I notice that like I feel very uncomfortable. And I think going back to this idea of like the truth, like the idea of the truth, I think that the truth is actually not very far. I think it's actually much closer than we think it is. And the reason why I say this is because I think what happens, like, especially in unhealthy relationships, is that we can like start to justify people's behavior. Well, you know, like they did this. And sometimes we just have to distill it to its simplest parts. Does this hurt or does this feel good?
My question, can the critic be a good thing? Can they be helpful? Or is it always just about pointing out negatives?
I don't know. What's your answer to that question?
Well,
Go.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. That's why I asked the question.
What do you think, Patrick?
I think it can, we were saying this before, it can start out good to protect me from something. You touch a hot stove and then sort of, it's maybe not the critic in that way, but sort of like, don't do that again.
Yeah.
But then I think that gets kind of hijacked or exaggerated, where it's like, well, touching the stove actually physically harmed me. I don't want to be emotionally harmed. So I'm not going to do anything where it looks like I'm going to make a mistake, because that's going to be just as painful as when I burned my hand. I think there's like neural pathways that get developed. And you were talking about this now, Anthony, about the narrative. That narrative comes online and then it gets worn and worn and worn. And it's sort of in us that, oh, this person makes me uncomfortable. They think I'm a terrible person or they don't like me. And now I feel bad about myself anytime I see them.
Can you say more about what you mean when you say that it's to keep us safe, like when we have those types of experiences?
Yeah, I think about a kid growing up who's maybe punished or something bad happens to them when they cry, when they express an emotion and they're sad. They learn not to do it. They learn real quick not to do it because they don't want to get punished. They don't want to be in trouble. They don't want a caretaker or a parental figure to feel a certain way toward them. And so they learn how to control it. And so the critic says, don't cry. Even though you feel like crying, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. And then as an adult, that kid can't express that emotion and something's getting stuck or caught in them and it's causing them distress for not being able to cry when they need to cry.
Yeah.
This sounds like our character defects, our character assets that flip on their tail after a while.
It's exactly like it.
Okay, I'm going to push back. And sometimes there are places where it's not appropriate to cry, right?
Totally.
And so how like, other than lived experiences.
Can you explain that?
So like in the workplace, right, at work, it's not really most appropriate to be crying at wherever you're working because you got to do your job, you know? And if you are for some reason, then like it's frowned upon with society to be crying at work.
Because I was crying last week and they didn't like that.
Yeah. Well, then my response to that is who determines what's appropriate?
Yeah.
And who determines what's appropriate?
George Washington and the Founding Fathers.
Fair enough.
Next
question.
I think what's unfortunate with that too is like if you have that message and that like you were saying, like you get it as a young child and you lived it so long that's always the situation. Don't cry. It's never don't cry for that reason. It's don't cry.
It's sort of an umbrella of don't cry. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But also, Jordan, you're bringing in kind of like, I don't know, systems of oppression and patriarchy and capitalistic society where like, I wish I could cry at work and feel okay about it.
Sometimes
I
I
probably
need to.
have cried at work.
Yeah. Patrick, thank you. That's what I was like trying to get him to go there.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like,
Well,
thanks.
I work in hospice and I've never cried at work.
Yeah.
I'm all dramatic. I run downstairs.
Yeah.
I need some space.
But thank you, Patrick. But that's what I was getting at, right? Which is like, if we find ourselves using the word like appropriate, like I think we should be thinking about like who's the arbiter of this truth, like what power is in this room that is like making me like controlling my behavior.
And I think there's another piece of it too, because the person who cries at work and doesn't feel distressed about it is a different person than the person who refuses to cry at work and feels a ton of distress about not being able to express that emotion and what's going on for them internally, right?
Yeah.
Yes, there are workplaces and situations where it probably would be frowned upon to cry, but I think about what's going on in that person who's experiencing that, crying or not crying, being allowed to or not allowed to, and what's their situation. Because that could send them into a spiral of shame one way.
This is like a whole, we could talk about that for the next 2 days.
Your work environment.
Yeah, go. What? No, please.
No, finish. Go
why
ahead.
am I even here?
No, go ahead.
I ask that all the time.
Actually, no. You know what's funny? It's like he sends us messages. Oh, I think I was dominating the conversation. You guys should tell me. It's like
I did. I sent them because we had an episode and I was listening to it. I was like, oh my God, Anthony, you're taking up so much time.
No, you're not. It's like we would tell you. Go ahead. I apologize because I did.
No, please.
I didn't know. No,
I forgot what I was going to talk about.
Go ahead and say it.
I'm going to cry.
Not allowed.
Not here.
Well, the reason why I said I feel like there's so much, like we can talk about crying for like hours because like what you're making me think of are the politics of tears. Like, because what you're essentially saying is who gets to fall apart, right? And who gets to fall apart without consequences. So I was just thinking about that.
Right.
What were you saying?
White women.
You know what? I'm going to push on that. Because that's not necessarily true. Because I'm thinking of like white women who work in finance. Like, that's an environment that is like generally dominated by men. Yeah, exactly. And there are certain spaces that, right, like a white woman is disenfranchised or is on like the downside.
Sorry, white women.
Yeah, let's not. Yeah, but I forgot where we were fucking going. So we were talking about tears and blame and consequences and the critic in her head and prison.
And these two pushing back, because we're gonna title this episode "Pushing Back."
No, but I think sometimes I guess what I'm also my thought process is the critic can also be motivating for me to do something, right? Like, to be, it's a way to motivate myself that I should be doing more. I can be doing, like, I should be going to the gym more, like I don't have to be here on the couch, right? I could be doing something more productive with my time and myself.
Yeah,
right?
But the critics sometimes, the way that they present it, like, bitch, you're fat, you need to go to the gym, but you're also kind of lazy, so why even waste time?
Yes, some of us need the tough love critic.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes, and it's not. I don't think it's an all or nothing. It's sometimes get off the couch and go into the gym. You need that tough critic.
Is the critic also the inner saboteur, or is that something different?
That's a different one.
That's a different one, but they're basically they work for the same people.
They're related. I think they're closely related.
They're office mates, cubicle
like
mates.
I said, like he was saying, the overlapping, the definite overlapping is there.
So what do you do when the critic shows up?
Say hello.
Hello.
Like, good morning, critic. Hello.
No, what will you say? Oh, well, it shows up. So, like jokes aside, it shows up. What is your natural inclination? And like, not the healthy answers, but like the things that actually happen.
Listen to it.
Yep.
Listen to it and go hide in a corner, because it's like I think in the beginning, it takes a little while.
Yep.
In the beginning, before you are even aware, and it takes an enormous amount of energy to become aware.
The first step is to become aware.
Yeah. And so it's like, and I think before, what I would do, how I would react is I would retreat. And if I was uncomfortable and listening to stuff, instead of sticking around and feeling uncomfortable, I would just leave.
Yeah.
I would go away. Or the thing that, and this is my higher power, even when I wasn't in control, I would just surround myself with people who were the gentler, kinder, like, so that I didn't have to kind of deal with shit.
Yeah. My first response is to problem solve. Okay, here's the issue. What are you going to do to change it right away, right? And taking it very up in the head.
That's your first response.
If you got a problem, I'll solve it.
Right. Well, like I've been.
I don't doubt you.
I've been learning through therapy.
Okay.
To at least acknowledge.
Let's be truthful.
So we say it out loud to acknowledge, and then I go back to how do I solve? How do I get far away from this thought, which is solve the problem, solve the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My go-to was always eating something.
Yeah.
A donut. Right? Like as soon as the critic comes and tells me,
thank you for your honest answer, Patrick.
Okay, well, he was looking for a certain answer.
No, I wanted an honest answer.
I'm like this, just like you.
Jesus,
You got a pen right
Jordan's
there.
like, well, I critically think about it. No, you don't, bitch.
You got a
no,
pen.
you don't.
You have a pen right there. You should write down what you want us to say and then slide it.
Well,
I'm with you.
Yeah. I'm
But
like, okay, girl. That's how we ended up in 12 step.
It's true. And then critically thinking for me was too much, and so meth was a good answer.
I'm fucking with you.
Donut turned into math.
I got it. I understand.
Jesus.
Sorry, Patrick, you were saying donut.
Eating a donut, right? To feel better, just reaching for something else to feel better. I didn't necessarily acknowledge that the critic was there or even was aware of it or what it was doing or where it came from.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, I don't feel good. Let me eat something or smoke something or drink something that's going to take that feeling away.
For me, it sucks. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's like historically, like for me, it's such a fine line between like, you know, like
there's absolute proof because you can go back to old episodes.
Oh my God! If you don't shut the fuck up,
lots of empirical data,
and I talk about it a lot of them. They're. But you know, like this, there's such a fine line between like fucking and having fun, and then like fucking to cope. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, you know, it's like about not feeling, and I can do it also kind of like romantically, you know, like being involved with someone romantically in order to like to not feel the things that maybe make you uncomfortable. Mm. Wait, before were we wrapping up?
We can.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so there was like the thing that I was thinking of is like to the idea of the critic, like, oh, you know, is it beneficial? Mm-hmm. And it kind of reminds me of like in 12 step, we say, you know, attraction rather than promotion, right? So promotion being this thing that kind of like maybe pushes you in a direction, and attraction being something that draws you in. And I find that like with a critic, at least younger me believed that in order for me to be motivated, I'm only going to succeed or be successful if I'm critical of myself and I have to push and push and push and push and push. And so that was really exhausting and it's not sustainable. What I found now is that when it shows up, I find that there's like, instead of being pushed like with criticism, I'm thinking about like what is drawing me toward the thing, like what makes this thing important to me, whatever it is. I don't know. And then also making room for my humanness.
On the flip side of that too, to that, and I got this, you reach a certain point where your tolerance for the discomfort is no longer acceptable. So in that way, the critic can be, I mean, because it has to go to the extreme. It has to go to the point where you're like, oh God, I'm going to explode. I can't do this anymore. And then it causes you to take action.
And I also think that speaks to sort of a slower approach, which I think that I've learned in recovery. And I notice it in therapy too. Like our world, and Jordan, you were saying this either earlier or last episode, like I don't have time, frantic, got to do, and get, and be. And Anthony, you just were talking about success and what's success. And I feel like we live in a world, we grew up in a system where like that's the measurement. And if we take a minute to slow down at a meeting, in therapy, meditation, prayer, we can sort of see that we don't have to be so quick to change our circumstances or how we feel. We can kind of sit with it for a second to get that beat, and then we get a choice of what we're going to do.
Yeah,
I love that.
That's very different than the quote unquote outside world.
Can I ask you a question to follow up to that?
Oh, please.
Because like what you're describing is actually pretty hard. Right?
Yeah. As we're talking about it, we're making it sound like it's real easy to do. No,
so that's
lifetime work.
And so my follow-up to that would be like, what do you do? Right? Because that's beautiful. And I think it's, at least it speaks to my experience. But when you're sitting with the discomfort, like how do you stay? Even if just for a minute, how do you stay?
Tell somebody about it. Share it.
Yeah.
I think, that's something that we can all do. Right? Doesn't cost anything, time or money. It costs something in vulnerability and comfort, right? But that's the price. Mm-hmm. That's the price.
And that takes practice.
When my sponsees talk about what you were saying about not having time, I try to turn it around and say, you know what? This is about you. Mm-hmm. This is about these actions that you're taking. They're about you. And like when you say you don't have the time, that means you don't have time for yourself. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, yeah, but
you know what that makes me think of? Like when someone, like you don't have time for yourself, like sometimes I think about it as like, who are you siding with right now? Like, are you siding with your addiction right now? Like, is that what you want? You want to co-sign all of that, or like, is there something else that you want to spend time on? Right. And I have that conversation with myself all the time where it's like, oh, I'm tired. I don't want to go to a meeting. And it's like, girl, are you going to hop on Sniffies right now?
Yes.
Then you have time to go to a meeting.
Yeah, and who are you justifying it to, right? That sounds like what you were both saying is like, who are you trying to
my cat's like, another one? Like,
the cat's got like a little scratches of it.
my cat's looking at that. Yeah. My cat's looking at these guys like, you're not the first one here today, right?
So the Castro Country Club is a safe and sober community center for all people, and it's a refuge for the LGBTQ recovery community.
Yes, and we provide programs and services that help change lives by supporting personal growth.
Our vision is to reduce the suffering of addiction by connecting people to community, opportunity, and support.
You can find more information, including all the ways to contact us, at www.castrocountryclub.org/podcast.
And check out new episodes on Mondays. Issues when they're downloaded.
We love you. Bye.